He is a Mao, the king of the dungeon that feeds off people's emotions by creating dungeons. When you hear the word dungeon, what do you imagine? A heinous demon. Death awaiting at the end of desperation and fear. They are all true, but the dungeon that he created is a city. Neither despair nor fear, but by using the hopes and smiles as fuel. A place where humans and the demons coexist. It is the city of Avalon. To understand the creation of such a city, let us go back in time a little bit. It all started when he found himself abruptly transported into an unfamiliar, dimly lit room, devoid of any furniture or discernible exit. Amidst his disorientation, he grappled with a profound sense of identity loss, unable to recollect where he came from or who he truly was. Suddenly, as if materializing from thin air, a young girl materialized right before his eyes, her presence an enigmatic puzzle that begged to be solved. Before he could even articulate a single inquiry, the girl wasted no time and summoned forth a terrifying beast, commanding it to attack him without mercy. Desperate to defend himself, he relied on his instincts and evaded the onslaught of ferocious strikes to the best of his ability. Yet the adversary before him proved to be an unparalleled combination of swiftness and power, leaving him in a dire predicament. Backed into a corner, his pulse racing with fear, he let out a resounding shout, a cry for help almost. Astonishingly, a mysterious pistol materialized in his trembling hands, seemingly conjured from the very fabric of the universe. Determined to protect himself at all costs, he aimed the weapon at the relentless beast and discharged a single shot. In that pivotal moment, the creature shattered and disintegrated into a cloud of ethereal ash, vanquished by his newfound power. The girl applauded his triumph, her admiration gleaming in her eyes, and proceeded to enlighten him about his extraordinary ability, known as Create, a magical skill that harnessed the latent power within him to materialize objects from his memories. However, there was a caveat: he could only manifest inanimate objects, and anything infused with magic remained beyond his reach. Confusion clouded his mind as he struggled to comprehend this revelation. How could he create things from his memories when he could not even remember his own identity? To his surprise, the girl revealed that the intense encounter they just experienced was, in fact, a carefully orchestrated test. By overcoming the formidable challenge, he had proven himself worthy of a grandiose destiny, as the chosen one destined to a new demon king. He is the demon king of creation, and he is named Procel. She herself is the demon king of beast, named Marco. She does not know anything about Procel, and this information was told to her by the higher-ups. To tell him about the demon kings, she takes him to another room. There lies a crystal in the middle, and Procel watches his face in it. He is about to touch it, but Marco stops him, saying that this crystal is the core of this dungeon and the source of her power. If this crystal is destroyed, it will not unalive her, but she would lose all her powers. The demon kings lead the demons, create dungeons, and reign over them. By enticing the humans to come inside their dungeons and through their strong emotions and power of life, the demon kings collect dungeon points called DP. This is the job of the demon kings. Until Procel leaves the nest, Marco is going to act as a parent and support him throughout the year. This marks the start of Procel's dungeon creation. They started with the formation of demons that are the guardians of the dungeon and steal the emotions and lives of the outsiders, a necessity for dungeon. Demons are brought to life by combining two metals that can be made by a demon king once a month. Spawning demons are determined by the attribute of the metals. For example, Marco's beast metal can spawn a demon that rules over beasts, a fire metal can spawn a fire-governing demon, and so on. But Procel's create metal can change the attribute of the metal to his liking. Furthermore, he can also choose what demons to spawn out of countless possibilities. The drawback is that he needs to use 3 metals, which is a pain. Basically, he can spawn demons much stronger than normal however he wants. He uses the 3 metals including fire, beast, and create to synthesize a new demon. What he seeks from the new life is a friend, because he felt lonely when he was born as a demon king. So he wants a friend to grow together and to be with forever. With these sentiments, the demon to be born is Celestial Fox of rank S. Procel is surprised to see the new demon, but he is even more shocked when the little demon calls him daddy. She is not wrong, but it still feels a bit strange. Marco teases him that he is a lolical that likes lowly girls. The demon calls herself a Tenko, meaning Celestial Fox, and asks Procel to name her. Procel thinks about a name, but Marco grabs his mouth before he can say it. Marco tells him that the first 3 demons that the Demon King names become the contracted demons. It is a special being that connects with his soul and cannot be undone. So it is not good to carelessly name a demon. Procell understands and tells the Tenko that he would name her after he knows more about her powers and personality. The Tenko is determined to prove herself to her newly claimed daddy. Marco suggests to enter the world of chaos now that he has a partner. It is a place where low-level demons spawn indefinitely, so the two of them can test their powers and get some battle experience. The demons start appearing in the world of chaos. Tenko moves her body and performs the gold dance to defeat the low-level demon. Procell praises her, but he cannot lose to her, so he creates a weapon to attack another demon from far. Marco is surprised that he can shoot the demon from so far away. Tenko likes the new weapon and also wants one. However, attacking from far is not her style, so she opts for the one to attack from near with a weapon that goes kabang. Marco is impressed and praises the amazing weapon. Procell does not know the details about it, but he does know how to use it, and that should be enough. Marco has to leave, but she leaves a demon to guide Procell. She also tells him to start thinking about the kind of dungeon to make for himself. Procell ponders some and is worried about the fact that Tenko would have to fight for her life against the outsiders once he makes a dungeon. He created her as a friend, not as a pawn for the dungeon, so he wants to create a dungeon where demons like Tenko do not have to fight for their lives. Marco's demon finds the new Demon King mysterious. Marco says that his quality is enough, and he would be a fine Demon King in a year. It seems like her final task would end smoothly. Procell wakes up on a wide bed, with Tenko sleeping next to him. He pats her head as he recollects what has happened so far. He still does not know the kind of dungeon he wants to make, but he does know that he wants something where Tenko can make friends, and it should be a safe place that does not hurt anyone. Procell walks outside and finds Marco making breakfast in a cheerful manner. She thought of doing something a guardian would do, as she is apparently the parent of Procell now. Procell glances at the burnt pan and asks if this is some kind of punishment. Marco finds him mean for pointing out the obvious. It has been a month since Procell woke up, so Marco asks about his progress at the breakfast table. He had to build up strength before the upcoming gathering of the Demon Kings, the evening party. The evening party's main objective is to present the 10 new Demon Kings, including Procell. He would be targeted if he is looked down upon, so if he wants to protect Tenko, he needs to demonstrate his strength there. It seems like Procell already has an idea because he has a number of skeletons under him. Just yesterday, they went to the Crimson Cave on Marco's suggestion to gather battle experience for Tenko and himself. It was a dungeon without the Demon King. The crystals are the source of power of the Demon Kings and also the core of the dungeons. So Demon King is like the caretaker of the crystal. If the crystal is shattered, the dungeon and the demons within would perish. If the Demon King disappears, the crystal goes out of control and keeps on spawning demons indefinitely, just like this Crimson Cave. The master of the Crimson Cave was the late Fire Demon King, but Marco, an acquaintance of his, is the one that takes care of it now. Procell is thinking that Marco has a pretty strong sense of responsibility when Tenko runs towards him panicking. The reason of her panic is the breakage of her weapon. While this is not a surprise for Procell because they have been using the weapon constantly without properly taking care of it. Tenko wants a new weapon because the monsters are too many for her to handle. However, Procell does not create a new weapon for her. The reason they have come to the Crimson Cave is to test the skeleton army. The skeletons are rattling around, making Tenko scared and causing her to run away. Procell commands them as he gives them weapons as well. The results are remarkable. Even though the skeletons are low-level demons that do not need any metals, combined with the weapons the Procell made with the Create, they are pretty good. But the problem is that they need a proper person to command them, and Procell cannot always do so. To counter this problem, Marco offers him an earth metal, which has a good affinity with the undead. A Create metal comes once a month for Procell, and this earth metal combined, he has 2 metals and need 1 more metal to create the new demon. As to where to get the new metal, they are discussing when Tenko interrupts and says that she does not like the scary things that Procell created, and she also feels left out because Marco and Procell are talking about complex things that she does not understand. Marco is about to scold her, but Procell pats her head and continues the discussion. His plan is to make an imitation metal, a fake version of the metal that comes only once a month. He would need a huge amount of magic for this purpose, although the quality of the metal and the rank of the monster that come out would drop 1 rank, but as long as he has enough magic, he can make them without limit. He tries it and comes up with a human imitation metal. Marco questions why it is not a creation imitation metal. Procell does not know the exact answer, but his guess is that perhaps the Create imitation becomes an imitation of the attribute he changed in the past. He felt the same when he created Tenko. He must have changed the create to human due to his desire for a friend. Procell tells the Tenko to cheer up because what he is making right now is her younger sister. He uses the 3 metals and an elder dwarf girl of rank S pops out. Marco is surprised that he made an elder dwarf and not an undead to control the skeleton army. Procell wanted someone who can clean and modify the guns without him having to use his ability of create, so he created a master blacksmith dwarf. He would do something about the undead later. Upon a closer look, this new demon is also a loli. Marco once again teases Procell about it, but he says that he only wanted a child so that Tenko can get along with her. Tenko is happy to get a new friend and calls her El-chan. She introduces herself as the older sister and says that she has to listen to her. The elder dwarf notices the weapon on Tenko and snatches it suddenly. Her eyes glimmer when she analyzes the newly found weapon, but Tenko is not happy about it and wants to take her weapon back. In a struggle, the gun fires into the air. Luckily, no one is hurt by its impact. However, instead of being shocked, the elder dwarf announces that she understands her position and responsibility, which is to make stronger and more weapons. She further says that this weapon has bolted her imagination and tells Procell to leave it to her. Procell and Tenko are shocked by her enthusiasm. Marco is also surprised and says that Procell made another peculiar character. The elder dwarf is a master of blacksmithing and is now called El. She is more stranger than anyone though. Ever since El was created, she has been in her room and rarely comes outside. And the next thing Procell knew, the mine area was full of golems that El created. Marco and he has been trying to talk to her every now and then, but the results are not any better. Marco told her to eat with everyone once in a while, but El pointed the weapon on her and told her to not get in the way of her work. Even Procell could not do anything. She really is a strange girl. Marco excitedly asked Procell about the occasion, and he tells her that today is the evening party that all the Demon Kings attend. Of course, Marco already knows about it and even prepared a formal wear for the occasion. She made it carefully so that Procell would not be looked down upon by the other rookie Demon Kings and the older Demon Kings attending the evening party. Marco asks about his thoughts on the new dress. Procell finds the new attire a bit uncomfortable, but he likes it anyway. He also compliments Marco about her own new dress for the party. Tenko is also excited for her dress, but Marco did not make any for her because the demons does not need it. Marco asks about El, and Procell says that she is the same as always. However, Tenko says that the two of them do not understand El at all. They know that Tenko has been visiting El and ask if she knows anything about it. Suddenly, they hear a blast and El comes forth riding a golem. Marco is worried about her dungeon but does not voice her concerns. El has brought forward a box full of weapons that she has modified and maintained. It seems like she worked on everything in the box in this small amount of time, and this is the reason that she had confined herself. That is not all. El even modified the shotgun that Procell created for Tenko. Tenko is excited to get her newly modified awesome weapon, but she does not know how to explain its features. But not to worry, El is here to explain all the features in detail. The gun is called E001S. She used the previously created gun as a base to modify this one. She used a 4-gauge bullet to increase the power and used mithril to make the body lighter and harder. On top of that, she also added a handy magazine for easy-to-use semi-automatic mechanism as a bonus. Marco does not know what it means and asks Procell about it. He tells her that it means that the gun can repeatedly fire bullets that can blow people up. Elle is super excited when she presents her best product to Procell. She gives the gun to Procell, but realizes that she has been too excited and apologizes that she loses control when it comes to weapons. Procell thinks that he has been wrong about Elle. She has been trying her best to live up to his expectations. Procell thanks her and praises her as well for doing so good. Elle feels happy and calls him Daddy, just like Tenko. Tenko notices this change and asks her to repeat. However, Elle says that she did not say that while pointing the muzzle of the gun towards Tenko. Tenko tells her that it is dangerous to point the muzzle towards her while having an argument. Procell pats both of them and says that now that he has done the preparations for the evening party, the only thing left is to enjoy the evening party. He thinks that the evening party is a great opportunity to get hints about the dungeon making from the older Demon Kings. And the 9 other Demon Kings who were born at the same time can get along with him because of the same circumstances. He may even be able to find a long-life friend there. Marco ponders something and says that it would indeed be nice. What appears behind her shocks Procell and her demons. Tenko gets ready to attack but is captured by a spider demon. Another demon appears behind Procell and says that he is still too naive. The demons have the same intimidating feeling as Marco's powers. So these demons are Marco's contracted demons. Marco says that she has been a bit rough, but this is what the evening party means. Suddenly, a voice speaks in the consciousness of Procel, but he is not the only one hearing this voice. Marco can also hear it. It is the invitation to the evening party. They get transported to a garden with a blue clear sky above their heads. Marco tells him that behind him is the stage of the evening party, where the creator of the Demon Kings live. What stands before him is a dark Demon King palace. Marco wants to say something, but Procel says that he understands what she is conveying. He forgot because Marco is always cooperative and frank, but a Demon King is someone who invites prey into his dungeon and feeds on the emotions of fear and despair. A party that gathers such people should not be normal. The other Demon Kings probably would come threaten to the ones that are too relaxed. Although it is named the evening party, this place is actually a hunting ground. Marco sees that Procel understands it all and tells him to proceed. This is his crucial first stage. In the Demon King Palace, at the evening party venue, Procel is getting along well with the other Demon Kings. He even receives a Death Imitate Medal and gives his Flame Imitate Medal in exchange. Marco praises him for doing so well, but this is not the case as it appears on the outside. Even though the other Demon Kings appear so friendly on the surface, their murderous intent is genuine and obvious to Procel. It was good that Marco put him on edge earlier and made him ready for the evening party. However, the one to give such advice is enjoying the party because she is old enough to have friends at the party. Procel is worried that the skeletons he brought with Tenko and Elle on Marco's suggestion are attracting too much attention. However, Marco says that it is fine because it is like fine dining. The inexperienced cannot discern between low and high levels of demons. Basically, those who only look at skeletons and laugh are inexperienced inferior. But Procel should be wary of those who see through Elle and Tenko's identity. She further tells him that his create is an attractive ability. There will be people coming out to destroy his crystal in order to steal his powers. It is now time he filter out who is an ally and who is not. The Demon King that destroys his crystal will gain the ability to make his metals. Procel says that this is harsher world than expected, but Marco assures him that she is going to support him until he can be independent. Tenko, who has been listening to the conversation, says that even Marco may not be trustworthy. After all, Tenko is a part of Demon Kings as well, and it would be troublesome if she becomes hostile towards Procel when he is always beside her. Marco is also listening to these concerns and says that Tenko is clever. However, he tells them not to worry because any Demon King chosen to be a parent fundamentally would not become like that. It is made to be like that. Procel is surprised and says that it is made really well like that. Marco tells him to enjoy the party, but they do not know another crisis coming towards them. A girl notices the skeleton and snickers. She laughs out loud, attracting Procel and Marco's attention as well. The girl makes fun of the fact that there is a miserable Demon King present here who has skeletons as his attendants. She grabs the skull of the skeleton and says that she cannot imagine them to be in the same generation as her, the Demon King of the Wind, Stolas. Procel realizes that she is also a new Demon King as well. Stolas notices Elle and Tenko as well, but she cannot see through their identities and thinks that they are also low-level demons as well. She calls them pathetic and useless kinds. This comment triggers Procel, but Stolas gives him a wind imitate metals while saying that she will bless him the metal as they are in the same generation so that he can also create a strong and proud demon like her own contracted demon children. Marco is observing her from the side and thinks that a wind demon king has been missing for years now. Though she may be inexperienced that fell in the skeleton trap, but her magical powers are a real deal. Marco is also observing what Procel is going to do now. Procel is fuming with anger, but tells himself to calm down. He cannot forgive Stolas for looking down on Elle and Tenko, but he needs to compose himself because it was their intended action. He thanks her for the medal and offers his own, but Stolas says that she does not need his medal because it might create failures such as his demons if he ever used his medal. Procel finally snaps and tells her that she is the one useless with her useless demons. Stolas also gets angry because she cannot stand the insult of her own demon children. The two of them are so angry and are about to take things further when they hear a voice again. All the new Demon Kings have been teleported to the stage, and the voice tells everyone to celebrate the birth of new Demon Kings. The voice says that they are going to enjoy themselves with some entertainment. Procel notices that it is the same voice that he heard during the invitation to the evening party. Stolas tells him that it is the voice of the Creator. The Creator announces that the new set of Demons Kings are going to war for entertainment. Everyone cheers while Marco is shocked to hear that. The creator says that they are going to start with the ones that could not wait. The first match is going to be between the Demon King of Create, Procell, and the Demon King of Wind, Stolas. In the waiting room, which is actually a white space, Marco is agitated. Normally, Demon Kings are not allowed to make dungeons before they are independent and are supposed to have a non-interference rule of other Demon Kings' dungeons. But a war for entertainment is too much, and they do not stop there. After the evening party, all Demon Kings are to participate in at least one battle. This is all for the sake of boredom. Procell is unexpectedly calm and tells Marco that nothing can be done now. He explains that this game uses pseudo-crystals, not the real ones. Furthermore, the Demon King of Time will return whatever is lost in the game. Procell says that he would get through this by thinking of it as a simulation for the inevitable real war. He also says that Marco already saw through this whole situation way before because she told him to power up before the evening party. Marco says that she was able to do so because she heard rumors from the previous Demon Kings and asks about his plans for the creation of his own dungeon. However, Procell's mind is a completely blank slate right now as he does not have any idea about the kind of dungeon he wants to create. His intentions were not to fight originally. Rather, he was thinking of making something conveniently not a dungeon. But he cannot do that in the given situation. Stolas would come to crush them with full force. Procell does not want to hurt El and Tenko and cannot forgive the person who insulted them as well. A combat-based dungeon is needed. In this game, only one level with 3 stages dungeon is allowed. The more complicated a dungeon is, the more robust it would become. Anything glamorous would need a lot of magical powers. In his current state, he is able to create most things, but a complicated and robust dungeon is just a waste of time. El and Tenko's skills are impeccable, but the rest are sketchy, a skeleton army that follows orders without thinking, and El's golems. There are also the guns that El mass-produced. Procell also has a new create medal that the creator made just for the game, and the death and the wind medals he got from the evening party. But the problem is that they do not harmonize well. The golems could be used for defense, but they are too slow. Procell has an idea of stuffing them up in the narrow hallway so she cannot escape, but that is just a way to buy time. Procell suddenly comes with an idea and starts working on his dungeon. Marco also comes closer to take a look, but she is surprised to see the crystal. She tells Procell to take this seriously, but he does not stop and comes up with his own dungeon. Demon King of Create, Procell, and the Demon King of Wind, Stolas are to participate in a pseudo-war as entertainment for the evening party. The battle is about to begin. The creator explains the rules. Each Demon King will generate a 1-level 3-floor dungeon in the white space. Either one destroys the crystal in the depths of the dungeon or defeat the Demon King. The one still standing will be crowned the winner. The demons used to invade the other dungeon and the demons used to protect the dungeon will become the key to victory. The both Demon Kings are standing in front of each other in the white space with their dungeons. Stolas has a flashy dungeon, just like her personality. However, Procell has a cave-like simple dungeon. More than that, there are far too many demons in the Stolas army, at least 100. That may be due to the fact that the wind ability has a copy feature that can create clones. Tenko is worried that defeating them is too much of a work and asks about Procell's plan. However, Procell does not tell her too much and tells her to just wait. Stolas looks down on Procell's dungeon and calls it trashy. The creator announces the start of the battle, so the wars began. As soon as the battle begins, Stolas uses a teleportation magic to teleport herself to the depths of her own dungeon, near the crystal to protect it. Her plan is to protect the crystal herself and make a copy of herself to command from the front lines. She comes to her contracted demon Rosalit, who tells her that the preparation for the attack is ready. However, the other party has not shown a single sign of movement, and they are not allowed to fight inside the white space. Stolas is shocked to find that there is no way to directly beat up Procell. It seems like Procell has no intention of defending his dungeon or attacking theirs. Stolas thinks Procell either has no motivation or he is confident in protecting the dungeon. But Stolas does not think too much of it and commands her own troops. She tells them to send all of the copies and the half of the main troops in attack. She plans to invade the enemy base at once and instantly defeat them. Stolas steps forwards with her troops to attack Procell and his dungeon. However, she encounters a problem as soon as she charges. The entrance to Procell's dungeon is too small and only a few demons at a time is the limit. Stolas, however, is not too much affected by this and stays calm and confident. She plans to communicate with the demons that went inside with her telepathy and just send the reinforcements after judging the situation appropriately. Stolas thinks that it is only the matter of time before his crystal is taken. But she notices that Procel is still not making any moves, and furthermore there is no contact from inside the dungeon. There should be some reply even if those demons were defeated, so this is really strange. Stolas finally gets agitated and plans to go inside the dungeon herself. When her spirit is about to enter the dungeon, she notices that Procel is so weak that he cannot even detect her spirit, so what it is that he could have done to her army. When she enters the dungeon, Procel notices her spirit because the dungeon is connected to his conscious and he can simply detect her inside the dungeon. Inside the dungeon, Stolas finds herself in the straight path. She looks down on the simple design but notices that the ceiling is too low and is not compatible with her demons at all. She finds golems at the end of the path and it looks like they are holding something. She takes a few more steps and sees her first squad of demons completely defeated. Her shock is still intact when her second squad arrives behind her as well. The golems on the other hand point their weapons towards them and start firing at them. Procel on the other hand can feel Stolas' fear and despair. Tenko notices his strange behavior, but he says that it is nothing and that it is now their time. Under the Demon King of Dragon, Astaros, Stolas was born as the Demon King of Wind. She did not know left from right in the beginning. There were numerous times where she wanted to run away. Her contracted demons supported her through the tough times. So she also wanted to become someone they can be proud of, never losing to anyone, to become a great demon king for them. That is what she chose. However, right now her demons are defeated and hurt. She realizes that her commandment was completely wrong. She thought that his high power attack could not be kept for a long time and decided to push with numbers in order to win. She sent her entire army to attack, and now they have been completely annihilated. Before the war started, Astaros told her that her odds are lower than Procel. She did not understand why she has been so looked down on from a guy who is bringing low-level monsters like skeletons. Astaros does not reply to her, but instead analyzes her dungeon and praises her. He tells her to give her best because whether she wins or loses, it will become a huge experience for her. She argued with Astaros back then, but now she is regretting her decision to not take his words more seriously. She is thinking that it is too late now, but her contracted demons appear suddenly. She is surprised to see them here because she had them wait in her own dungeon. She also realizes that she is in the white space outside the dungeons. Her contracted demons tell her that they heard her scream and gathered everyone here. Procel has started his advance as well, and that is why they took her out of the dungeon. When they did, they also caught a glimpse of the threat of that floor. There is no other description but to say that it was a nightmare. They also assume that the first floor is probably the ace of Demon King of Create, and as long as they can clear that floor, there is a chance of victory. They plan to send the real ones to clear the first floor instead of the copies. However, Stolas is against this idea because she experienced it firsthand. Her contracted demons assure her that everything lost in this war would be coming back afterwards so they can scare the enemy with all might. After all, she is the next great demon king. Stolas gets emotional, but rubs her face to clean the tears and gets her spirits back. She says that she was not only watching her friends die, but also thought of a way to defeat the golems even if the chance is small. She noticed that the golem has a low accuracy of an attack from above, but it should be kept in mind that it is still dangerous and far away. So Stolas came up with a formation. The copy and the real Masamune will make a defensive wall of wind and block the attack. Behind that, the copy and the real Phobos will run through with high speed. The copy of Phobos will act as a decoy, and Rosalit will cast strengthening magic very back. Stolas is worried that the farther one is in the front, the lower the chances of surviving become, but the contracted demons have already made their resolves and are determined to do this for their fallen comrades as well. So they enter the dungeon once again, and when the golems appear, Stolas executes her plan. Stolas sent the troops that were guarding her own dungeon to Procel's dungeon as a decoy. She plans to use them so that they can escape while the golem is concentrated on them. However, there were even traps in the grounds and her troops are destroyed without much resistance. Now that the decoy troops are no longer there, the golem will target Stolas and the company. When the golems start firing, Stolas' contracted demon Masamune comes forth to make a wall of wind to protect them. However, his wall of wind has no use and the bullets pass through it to hit him. Stolas cries to see her precious demon perish in bullets, but they are close to the escape now. However, next to go down is Phobos, who has been affected by a yellow gas poison. But even in his last moments, he takes the poison and perishes. However, the golems are firing again, and there is no time to dodge now. In an attempt to save Stolas, Rosalit comes forth and takes the damage. Even though most of her troops are sacrifices, Stolas is able to pass the first floor. She is happy that they are able to pass the horror of first floor. It is now only her and clone Phobos. She looks forward to the second floor but finds the same structure and golems as the first floor. She realizes that all 3 floors of the dungeons are like that. That is where her broke. On the other hand, Procel reaches the crystal of Stola's dungeon and finds her sitting there. They have been able to get through easily because she utilized all her demons on Procel's dungeon. However, Procel was able to detect all her emotions when her comrades died because whatever happened in his dungeon passed through him. He knows the life Stolas has for her comrades, so he says that he would destroy her crystal and end this game. All will return to before once the war ends. However, Stolas is not buying this reason. She says that all her comrades were slaughtered, so she cannot back down and lose now. She uses a dragon metal along with her crazy ace metal to synthesize Berserk, the emerald dragon. She goes crazy when she says that this is the genuine final battle.